Welcome back to WIBW News Now at noon. Senator Pat Roberts, a closer race than you were expecting in the primary, wasn't it?
Well, not really. We knew this was going to be a tough race. We knew that President Obama had gotten everybody so upset, so worried about their future and their kids and their grandkids, that anybody connected with Washington, regardless if you were fighting for them or not, there's going to be an effort to say, well, let's change. So we try to make it very clear that we're part of the change, that we want to put Kansas values in place as opposed to Obama values. And we've been doing that across the board. I'm on the Finance Committee. We're going to do tax reform next year. Let's make it a Republican Senate that does tax reform. We can keep going. I'm terribly worried about our national security policy. We need a reset. We just lost General Green, the first general that has been killed since Vietnam. Things are falling apart. When the world is on fire, and we have crisis after crisis, and then we have problems that just don't seem to be solved. This administration holds nobody accountable, scandal after scandal. It's no wonder people are upset. So we knew this was going to be tough. But we had a bunch of young people that did a wonderful job on my behalf. My wife, my family, and I worked very hard. Here in Topeka, we knocked on 66 doors here the other day, 98 degrees.
Now that you're past the primary, I can tell you, you guys keep talking about Harry Reid and President Obama. I say you guys as in the Republican Party, including the governor. But I've spoken to Mr. Taylor just earlier, and he says, I disagree with the president. Actually, the Democratic Party here in Kansas seems like they're distancing themselves from the president overall. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I'm very happy for them if they do that. It'll mean that Republicans can work with Democrats on a common agenda. I don't expect that to happen a lot. But people say, why can't you get along back there? Why can't you reach across the aisle? The problem is we can't get our arms up enough to reach because Harry won't let us have it. We've only had 9 votes in the whole year. So any alternative that we think is a positive to the Obama agenda is not even considered. And so I think a lot of people in Kansas are not even aware that we offer those alternatives. And, of course, our megaphone is not as big as the president's. But we keep trying. That's the thing. You know, Marines never give up.
You got your first debate coming up here at the Kansas State Fair here on 580 WIBW. And also, but then just today, this morning, Chad Taylor says, I want to debate you on all 105 Kansas counties. He actually sent a news release saying, I challenge you to the 105 debates. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a little much. I think that makes a good press release. But we're looking forward to the recognized debate in Hutchinson by WIBW and Kelly. And it'll be just fine. Mr. Taylor and I will have ample opportunity to express our views and to really get into the details of policy issues. People have to know where you stand on the issues.
I know you're very busy. You need to take a little bit of break before you hit the campaign trail for the general. But last question for you is, with Dr. Wolf, you had a very dirty race. Some are calling it a dirty race. It was just very motivated by a lot of he said, she said, so on and so forth. Do you plan on having a clean race for the general?
Well, we always try to have a clean race, but facts are stubborn things, and character counts. And it wasn't our campaign that was releasing that information. That was the news media in Kansas. And then people have to make up their minds on who and what a person really is. So we had hoped that we could discuss agriculture policy, a replacement for Obamacare, what we do with all this government overregulation. What about foreign policy that ties into our national security policy? We need a reset there. We have a president who basically is leading from behind. That's how he described it, non-intervention. When you do that, you leave a void, and bad people fill the void, and then you really have a problem. That's what we have right now. I'd like, at least for one of these scandals, that somebody would stand up and say, I'm responsible, and there'd be some accountability. We're still working on the IRS scandal in the Finance Committee, and we're not going to let that go until it's done.
Senator Pat Roberts, thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
Stay tuned. News Now at noon continues just after this.